Hey fam, it's DJ, your Arizona real estate agent. I'm here with my boy Corey. We're going to talk about some truths, some myths, some misconceptions about how you can really become a homeowner and how that financial side can really benefit you. But we want to really get down to the nitty gritty, down to the business, the truths about how all this stuff works and how important it is about planning your purchase, because your financial side is really what's going to make or break you. So I want Corey to basically tell y'all the truth to really understand how this stuff really works. So Corey is my go-to partner lender. He doesn't BS, just like I don't. There's really not a lot of fluff, so we're going to give it to you straight.
Man, all right, I love it. That's how we like to get down. Listen, there's one thing I want to tackle right now is there's so much noise online about things are just going to crash and it's going to be terrible and it's going to go. Now listen, there's going to be a market correction of some sort, but it's not going to involve you being able to get $1 million house for $200,000, right? I'm just telling you right now, that's not going to happen.
That ain't going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
So let's get that out the way real quick.
Let's get that out the way real quick. Now, there is opportunity. And what happens when things are, if you're there, opportunity is there. And so those who are prepared and are ready for it can seize that opportunity. Okay. So first things first, cash is always king. Mm-hmm. If you have money in the bank, if you have money in your pocket, you will be able to take advantage of some of these things. And right now, when there's inventory everywhere, right? And you see it as a realtor, when there's inventory everywhere, what happens is sellers that need to sell are willing to give you stuff.
Absolutely. That creates a better negotiating level.
Correct. And so you can get things which 2 or 3 years ago were crazy, like people painting interior of your house. I've seen ACs get replaced that aren't even bad, but they might be in a year. Like I've just seen wild stuff. So if you can get in, right? The best time to buy a house was probably 10 years ago. The next best time is when you're ready.
Exactly. When you are ready to buy a house, don't let the market tell you, or we hear questions all the time.
Yeah.
When's the best time to buy a house? The best time to buy a house is when you're ready to buy the house.
Right.
That's really the only best time that there is, because when you're ready, that's when you start gaining that equity, is when you're ready to buy the house. Not 5 years from now or 5 years ago. That was somebody else's best time. But when you're ready is when that's the best time for you to buy a house.
Correct. You know, back to the market crash. Even if you bought your house at the height in 2006 before 2008 and you kept it until now, you would still be up like 70% on where it is. So it's just a matter of how long you need to stay in the house. But we have 100 years worth of data that home prices continue to rise. Yeah. So this
continue to rise. Get that?
Yes,
they continue to rise.
So this thought process that things are going to crash is just absolutely nutty.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that I would say, is to kind of get that out of your mind. It's going to work. It's just a matter of how long you will need to stay in the house to get the benefits of it, to get the results. Okay. The second thing I see all the time online, which drives me crazy, is that you get quoted, well, that's just the mortgage payment, but that's not taxes and insurance and all that kind of stuff and repairs. You got to do all. And I'm like, okay, here's the deal. When we go through it, in order to qualify you, I have to take into account the principal and interest payment, your taxes, your insurance, because we're going to require insurance, and also any HOA payment that's there as well.
Correct. And mortgage payment, or private mortgage insurance if you happen to pay under 20%.
Correct. Yeah. So all that's in there. We call that PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And all of that is included. So when we quote you a payment, all of that there is included. Okay. And it's the same for your rent. The rent you're paying right now, you're paying all of that for your landlord.
Yeah.
I try to say this all the time because people don't understand. I'm like, do you think your landlord is giving you rent and they're still paying the taxes and insurance on top of it?
No.
No.
No. You're not giving away money for free.
No, that's like not happening. So you're either paying it for somebody else or you're paying it for yourself.
Yeah.
So, understand that as well. And then there are tons of programs where, we can help find you lower insurance. We both know a lot of insurance agents. We can help you shop for that kind of stuff. There are tricks of the trade to get lower PMI if it's possible for you, depending on your credit and those sorts of things. So, those two things I hear as negatives all the time, and they're just not true. Now, You are responsible for repairs. Yeah,
unlike at an apartment, unlike you're renting.
Yeah, you're not calling the super like, yo, man, I need you to fix this.
Yeah.
You will be responsible for those. Yeah. Okay, so you got to come into it with the right mindset, understanding that things will happen, and you'll have to get those taken care of and repaired. And we can talk about home warranties, which are up and down, etc. But that's something that we can talk about that may help the burden as well. I'm sure we both. I have a network. I know you do as well, of contractors and plumbers, and
it's a process.
Yes, and folks that I know will take good care of you and do the right thing for you and do best by you from there. So those are my top two things that just drive me crazy that I hear all the time. That I just wanted to shoot down right off top. So I don't know, what did I miss anything? What you got?
No, not at all. Because at the end of the day, you got to be willing to buy a house. You got to be willing to get in the game, because home ownership is a great thing if it's planned out properly. Which kind of brings me to my next kind of question: is that as an agent, I get a lot of questions of, okay, do I qualify? Will I qualify? And how much does it cost for down payment? All the things that you need to know. But it's the best place to start, of course, is with a lender, so that they can give you the bare bones of exactly what your situation is and how they can help you, because everybody's situation is different. There's not one loan that fits everybody, right?
Correct.
So every situation is different, because everybody's credit's different, everybody's financial situation is different, and everybody's needs are different. So we've got to find out what your needs and wants are, so we can make sure that we put you in the best plan possible with the right house. Because he's going to find you the best loan. I'm going to find you the best house. We're going to put you in the best situation that there is. But before we get started with all that, we got to plan that purpose for you. So tell them how they get started when it comes, say I decide to buy a house.
Yes.
How would you tell me where to start, or how would you plan this process for me?
Well, the biggest thing I say is you got to fill an application. And people are like, but I don't want to. I want to know how to do it first. And I'm like, I can't guide you if I don't have all of the information in front of me. Correct. I can give you some very general guidelines, but it's not going to be specific to you, right? I need your credit history. I need your specific income, and I need to know exactly what you have in the bank, right? And what area you're looking for, because there are different programs for different areas around the valley and all those sorts of things, right? So I need all of that information to really formulate a plan that's perfect for you. So I would say it's credit, cash, are the two biggest things, right? And even within those, we talk about credit. People say, well, I have a 740. I'm like, you do, but you've had it for like 15 minutes, right?
That does happen.
Yeah, that does happen, right? And I'm not downing that score. It's great that you got there, but what you need to understand is that you also need to have a credit history. Yeah. So if you have a 740, but you've had it for 6 months and you don't have a long history, it's not treated the same as somebody who's had a 740 and for 10 years, right? And so those things don't get weighed the same. And so that's why you get that, like, well, my Uncle Susie, Uncle Bobby.
Uncle Bobby.
I guess today you can say Uncle Susie too. My Uncle Bobby had a 740 and he got XYZ. How come I'm only getting this? Well, Uncle Bobby's 20 years older than you and has had that history a long time.
And times are different.
Times are different. Yeah. So there's a lot of nuance to it. So the best way to get started is to fill an application. Then we can start to break this down. And I'm very open. So what I will do is I create a custom presentation for you that will show you this is the max you qualify for. This is the mortgage payment you said you were comfortable paying. Often those two things are not the same, right? So now we have to figure out, well, what do you really want? What's most important, right? And then within that, I will, at a minimum, do a Zoom call, and I will go through and I will break down everything, every question you have, and I will show you. I'll go into our actual system. I'll flip the Zoom call to our actual system and say, hey, here it is. This is what it is. This is why your rate's a little bit different. This is the ding here, right? Your debt to income ratio is a little bit too high, or your credit history isn't long enough. And so you got dinged an eighth of a point here, an eighth of a point here, et cetera. Like, I can go through all of it. As nerdy as you want to get, I can get there. Okay. So we can go through all of it.
And there's power in that, symbol, because once you know where you stand, you're able to move forward from there, because you can almost guarantee, I can guarantee, if you do the work in the beginning, you are guaranteed to get a house because the work is done. So no matter what you do, if you start the process we'll figure out a way to get you to the promised land, which is you becoming a homeowner and buying the house of your dreams. That is actually the easy part, because the financial side of it is what everybody's concerned with. We guide you there so that to make sure that you get what it is that you want. It's not hard. You just have to be willing to get in the game, and then we'll take you the rest of the way. It's really that easy. And I think people kind of get the idea that the fear of filling out an application, the fear of looking at their credit report, the fear of not having enough money down, those are all pieces of the process, but that's not the end. That's not the end game, because we can help you. Of course, it's easy to fill out the application. It's just information that you give at when you buy a car, when you filled one out when you rented your house or your apartment. Everything has to start with an application. Yeah. From there, we put the system and the process together to fit what it is that you want. If you have credit issues, we have people. Yep. If you don't have credit issues, we still got people. So at the end of the day, we're going to take care of you to get you to that promised land of being that homeowner. But at the end of the day, that's really all it is, getting you into the game so that we can help you.
Absolutely. And I would add on to that, look, it's an invasive process. Yes. It is. It's an invasive process. And just think of it from this perspective. If you were going to loan me $500,000, wouldn't you want to make sure
I was able to pay it back?
Right. You would kind of rake me over the coals a little bit, like, wait, let me see this, right? So it's an invasive process, right? It's an intimate process from the standpoint that I'm going to see a lot, and a lot's going to be there, but I don't want that. But don't fear that, right? Don't fear that, because what comes through that is you getting better and better and have a better understanding of how to manage that and move forward. And I think that we have a tendency to be afraid of having these conversations about money. And what I have learned as I've been through this business and in the financial industry in general for 20 plus years.
We got like 40 plus years of experience right here.
Yeah. It's been a long time. Been a long time. What I've learned is that people who have money talk about it. Yeah. They talk about the do's and don'ts, what to do. They pass it on to their kids. And, I grew up in a household that didn't do that.
Same here.
And so I had to learn the hard way. Mm-hmm. Now you talk to people who have money, like, my dad used to tell me, like, damn, I got robbed. So
if I only would have known.
Right. Things could have been so much easier. So let's break that cycle and put it out in the open. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, especially talk to your kids about it and help them understand. So let's go through that process, and then you can share that with people on how to break that cycle and get everybody moving in the right direction.
Because owning a home, owning property is the best asset that you can have, that you can pass on through generations because of the ownership factor. So it's important to understand the financial side, because that's going to get everything started. And then learning how to buy one property and then another through that financial understanding is only going to benefit you and those that come after you. So it's a great tool to have, and we're a great team to have on your side no matter how you spin it. We'll always tell you the truth. There won't be any fluff, because we understand that just slows the process down and doesn't make it enjoyable for you, because the ultimate thing is for you to enjoy the process, understand the process, so that you can make the best decisions that are possible.
Absolutely. And I want to tie it up, because we talked a lot about fixing it and credit and cash and having all this. It doesn't have to be perfect. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Nothing's perfect.
Nothing's perfect. That doesn't mean you have to have 800 and 100K down. As I'm explaining that, I want to make sure you understand, like, there's a lot of 620 credit scores.
The box that's out there.
Yes.
That everybody feels like they have to fit in.
Yes. No. There's a lot of outside the box. There's a lot of ways to get you in a house. It does not have to be a perfect scenario with perfect credit and a bunch of cash at all. So don't feel that way either. I just need the full picture so we know which direction we have to go and where we can go.
It really is that simple.
Yeah.
It really is that simple. So we spent years trying to let people know how simple it is, but it really is that simple. You just got to give yourself a chance to come to the table so that we can take you the rest of the way.
Absolutely. And any of my military veterans out there, I can give up to $2,500 off closing costs on my end. Work with title companies that also do that, give discounts. And so trying to make it easier for you guys as well. Military, first responders. There you go.
Yeah, you service related in any industry, we can help you.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess with that said, we want to say thank y'all for paying attention and for listening. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.
All right.